I'm the Big Shot Critic, and today it's Moses versus Donald Duck. Roland Emmerich's Midway comes out on November 8th. This is a review of the 1976 Midway film. But the impending release of the new film is the reason I have finally decided to watch and review Midway. I've owned a digital copy of this movie for maybe a year and a half, but I had never seen it. This was made possible by the Universal Pictures Home Entertainment Rewards Program, which is actually a thing. When I bought The Fate of the Furious, the included promotion let me go to their website and choose from 8 pre-selected movies. The list refreshed every couple of months, and because I didn't like what I saw, I waited. So, after about a year, I checked again, and it said my points were going to expire in 2 days. So I looked at the list, I saw Charlton Heston, and here we are. Midway was directed by Jack Smight and written by Donald S. Sanford. It stars Charlton Heston, Henry Fonda, James Coburn, Cliff Robertson, who plays Uncle Ben in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films, Toshiro Mifune, and an early role from Tom Selleck. Now, I never thought I'd say this about Tom Selleck, but he's the one without the mustache. What I want to talk about first is Toshiro Mifune. I'm told that's how you pronounce his name. Spelling on the screen. This is a legendary actor. He was in Seven Samurai, The Hidden Fortress, and 14 other Kurosawa films. I mentioned those two because they're the only ones I've seen. In this movie, he plays Admiral Yamamoto, who is sort of the Eisenhower of the Japanese fleet. We used to say, I like Ike. They used to say, I like Yamamoto. And Toshiro was actually in World War II. He fought in World War II, so he probably had an I like Yamamoto hat. You can't prove that I'm wrong. Anyway, I was really excited to see him in this movie, because we have a legend playing a legend. But they dubbed him. They dubbed Toshiro Mifune with the voice of a man who once played Donald Duck.
This is how I expect the battle to develop.
Criminal. The next thing I want to talk about is John Williams. He did the music, and he did a great job like he always does. In fact, this fell right between Jaws and Star Wars. But it was weird. The music wasn't weird, but the way it was used was weird. It was as if Jack Smight was directing a live production, and he would just send for John to strike up the orchestra whenever he felt he was losing the audience. And that brings us to this film's biggest problem: emotional impact. It doesn't know how to punch you in the gut. For all the historical significance and real-life heroics going on the screen, it just floats on by. Just whizzes on like the airplanes in the movie. Now, when the American bombers start to get hits on the Japanese carriers, and when the Japanese bombers start to get hits on the American carriers, you can feel that in the movie. It's proper turn-of-the-tide, epic moment stuff. But everything else just flies on by, and it misses. And it's a big problem. And it's probably because the enemy forces are under the command of Donald Duck. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the actual history of the Battle of Midway, I got you covered. 6 months after Pearl Harbor, the U.S. Navy in the Pacific was severely disabled, and this left the balance of power with the Japanese. So what amounted to a series of miracles had to occur for us to win this battle, and we did, and this movie does a great job of outlining all of those. The whole first half of this movie, in fact, is build up to the battle, and it's done very, very well. Now, where appropriate, the movie actually puts the names on the screen, so you know the names of the real-life heroes, and you know you're watching a real-life story, which is really cool. I think it adds to it. Little accuracy things like that the movie did, I felt added to, sort of gave you a sense of reverence for the brave men who served in this battle. Also, crucially, the geography of the battle is very clear throughout the whole movie. This could have been a huge stumbling point, since the setting of this movie is basically the entire Pacific Ocean. One quick word of warning: history buffs might not like this movie. I understand there are some airplanes that are wrong, and some paint jobs that are wrong, and little things like that. Certain key points of the battle are missing. to make it fit in the 2-hour time frame, I guess. This didn't bother me, but then neither did Brad Pitt's accent in 7 Years in Tibet, so take it or leave it. Right, I give Midway 6 out of 10 commandments. It followed the first one, thou shalt not bore me to tears. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe, and click the bell icon so you know when my Casablanca review arrives.